Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been 3 or 4 weeks since my last upload, and I will kind of explain what happened there. So my 9-year-old Labrador, which she's like a kid to me. I mean, I treat her the same as my actual son. Unfortunately, she had seizures, and she had a lot of them lately, and unfortunately I had to put her down. And so that kind of put me into a pretty heavy bout of depression. And so that's kind of one reason I haven't even really been doing anything in the shop lately. And also why I haven't even been doing anything much lately. But I'm back, and also another reason why is because I have a new addition to the shop. Come here, girl. This, everybody, this is my new pup, Maggie. She's 100% Australian Shepherd, and she doesn't have a collar on because she just got out of the bath because she got in the mud because it just rained. But she's gonna be my new pup. So hopefully she turns into a good one. So far she's still learning what's what and who's who, but she's been pretty good. She's fairly calm for an Aussie. And clearly she can tell that she's being recorded or something's got her interest. But you'll probably be seeing her on the channel in the future because unlike the last one, I should say the last Aussie that was on the channel, that's my kid's dog, so she's not out here much. And Maggie here, she's all mine. So she'll hopefully be going where I go and be where I am. That means in the shop, in the house, and on the couch, and everywhere else. So, this is your formal introduction to the channel, Maggie. Welcome. She's almost as stubborn as I am, so this might be fun training her. She still has yet to recall, but I guess for an 11-week puppy, they still have a lot to learn. I'm actually surprised she's being this good. Normally she's flopping around all over the place. She must need a nap. There you go, girl. Go have fun. Run around. Anyway, back to the channel, back to the work to be done. Did finally get the door for the C10 here, and it is one that I got from Auto Metal Direct, but it is actually Tri Plus stamping. And there were a lot of issues and a lot of challenges with the door, unfortunately. And I guess might as well get into those and start showing you guys what I have to work with and what I had to do to get the damn door to fit. So here we go. So let's get into the problems with this new aftermarket door that I paid $500 for. Half of that was shipping. Anyway, so as you guys can see, when you're doing something with a painted vehicle, whether this was painted and I'm installing it or not, since this is painted, it gets a healthy layer of masking tape that protects any type of rubbing or touching painted surfaces. It's not guaranteed, but it does help immensely. But the problems I'm having, which have been a complete pain in my ass, that I've already got 3 hours in this door just trying to get it fitted and it's still way off, is if you see my gap all along here is pretty decent until you get back here. And this gap is too far. That's a massive gap. It's like 3/8 of an inch, as well as right here is perfect. Back here I can stick my finger in. So the problem with this door, oh, and also as you guys can see, I'm a 1/4 inch off here, and I'm a 1/4 inch off to those panel lines. So the whole door needs to come down. And I've already modified the hinges a little bit. I've opened these holes up just a little bit. And this hinge is good where it sits. the door needs to come down. So this hinge needs to come back. The problem is it's already in the furthest position. It's slid as far back as it'll go, and I've already opened these holes up a little bit. So I got two choices. I can open up a little bit more, or I can add a shim plate to my hinge here, which I don't really want to do because it's got to come back quite a bit. And then the other problem I had with this door was trying to get it in a position. It kept hitting right here and also right here. And no matter what I did, I tried tapping it with a hammer a little bit. I got to a point, it got so bad. That's how bad it got. I had to cut a whole section out of the door just so it wouldn't hit my rocker panel there. So the door has issues. Whether or not the issue is in the hinges or whether it's in the stamping, and this part of the door where the hinges mount to is not in the exact correct position, but it needs a lot of work to get it fitted. So now my goal is to take this door off a couple more times, I'm sure, and figure out what I'm going to do with this upper hinge in order to get the door to settle down and line up with those two panel lines. Because once I get the door lined up with these panel lines, then my bottom gap will be good, and then that whole back gap will hopefully close up, besides be able to be pushed back just a little bit. I know that was really long and drawn out, but that's where I'm at with this door. And again, I've already put the fender on recently and everything lines up really well. I probably will have to shim the fender up or down just a little bit to match everything up, but almost where the fender just fits naturally, it lines up to this really close. So the main problem is back there. The shipping damage this thing had, the box was opened on both ends. The door was about to fall out of the box. And while the box was a heavy duty box and it had protection on the corners, nothing can protect a door from falling out of the box, which I'm sure it did at one point during shipping. And this was caved in. So I've got it as straight as I can for now to just try and get the door fitted. Otherwise, the door's in pretty good shape, but it's definitely gonna need the standard body work. I can see a couple of little dents and imperfections in it, so it's gonna have to be body work, just like you would normally have to do, which is unfortunate because I have received sheet metal in the past that basically wet sand a heavy coat of primer and it was ready for paint. I think the problem is twofold with this stuff. Partly is shippers don't give a shit anymore, so stuff gets more damage, and also I don't know where they're getting this stuff from, but it seems like the quality is kind of hit and miss on some of the stuff. Some of it's awesome and some of it needs a little bit more work. But I guess what do you expect for a couple $100? Well, all I can say is fuck this door. This door is a piece of shit. What I've had to do to make this thing fit, and it fits fairly decent. The gaps are pretty consistent. One thing I'm worried about is the weather stripping gap right here. It's a little excessive. I mean, it's 5/8 of an inch roughly. I don't know if that's going to seal. I'm going to have to get the weather stripping in and check that before I get it painted. And then if you want to see how much I've had to open the holes up on the hinges, that's where they're at now. These were opened up just slightly, but that's closer to what they look like compared to that on all three. So I had to open up those substantially to get the door to drop down. And now my gaps, or I should say my panel lines, line up pretty close. The door's got to come down about another millimeter, but the problem is right here. That's why you use tape. But that is getting rubbed on by the door on the bottom here, and I've already beat that in with a body hammer. I'm not even gonna show it because it looks fucking disgusting, but I beat that in with a hammer and it's still rubbing. So I'm gonna take this piece of shit door off and then beat the shit out of that some more. I might have to end up cutting that and sectioning it like the front just to get it to fit my cab. And some of you might say, well, it's the buildup of materials. No, the buildup was not that high. This is probably overall about 1.5 millimeters thickness, absolute max. The other door fit perfectly with none of this shit. This door just fucking sucks. So right now, I'm so pissed off at this door, I'm done for a couple of days. I'm going to actually start wet sanding my other door and get it painted, and I'm gonna get it put on the other side, and I'm gonna deal with this after I get the other side painted. But this is gonna turn into a lot more work than I planned. I was hoping it would just fit, and it does technically fit. So another reason why I'm gonna wait on this door is because of the weather stripping. I didn't order my weather stripping yet. I'm gonna try a newer style. This I think is supposed to be, well, no, it is. Originally, this weather stripping was all glued on, and I don't know if you've ever taken weather stripping off one of these trucks. It's a nightmare to get it down clean. The new stuff I'm going to use is what they use on new cars, and it's kind of pinch hold. And I'm gonna buy some of that, and hopefully it's thick enough that it fits the door and seals it up. But I hate the idea of having to glue that stuff on. I don't know how many times I've seen that turn into a mess, and sometimes it stays, sometimes it doesn't, depending on the type of adhesive you use. But the newer style that uses pressure, there's like a steel insert and uses pressure to hold it in place. I love that on new vehicles, and that's one thing I'm gonna carry onto this. Order some of that, put it on, see how the door fits, see if it seals around the entire door. If it does, great. If not, then this door might have another accident with another axe. We'll see. I'm actually pretty disappointed because when I initially got the door, it looked really good, and it looked like a lot of other sheet metal I've got in the past that went right on without any issues. But I guess when shit's made in China, that's what happens. So I just noticed something else. I threw the fender on just to show you guys so my gap isn't set or anything. It's just got 2 bolts holding it in place. But if you look at the body line, it looks nice and clean and smooth for the most part. The door juts out just a little bit right here. That's not a big deal. That can be fixed pretty easy. One thing I noticed with this piece of shit door, and the drunk bastard that probably made this on a Monday or Friday, is my cab is completely flat and square. If you look at this coming down and this, yeah, you'll see that the door basically does this the whole way down, and this is going to be kind of a bitch to do. I'm going to have to build this whole side up with weld and finish it all off in order to get that a nice smooth line, because there's no way in hell I would use body filler to do an edge or a corner like that. So this has all got to be built up with weld and then ground down and then made completely smooth. I just don't understand how you can have the front be really nice and the back just being so shit. Like, did one person do that and another person do this? I don't know. Clearly you guys can probably tell from the video that I am not happy at all about this door. Anybody want to buy a partially completed C10? Got one for sale. All right, so that is what's new for the channel. Obviously still there's a lot of work to do on that door. I'm going to actually be wet sanding the other door, and I'm just going to get it painted and get it on the cab, get it done. I think I've got enough clear coat to get it done, and then I will take the other door off and start doing some welding on it and get it ready for bodywork and paint. So that's the plan. Till next time, what you doing, Maggie? You being good? I hope so. Please don't pee. Thank you. Okay guys, so that's the plan. Start wet sanding that door and get it ready for paint. And until then, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.